Anybody want to give a shout out to Sydney? Hi, Sydney. Gonna comment later. What did you say?
We should have named it Sydney Stream.
Oh, that's such a good idea. I should have thought of it. So y equal to 2 secant of 3 over 2 x minus 2 pi over 3. So you divide it by 3 over 2, that becomes 2 pi over 3. And then, so I'm going to start by kind of recognize this is a cosine graph. It's invert of a cosine graph because it's a reciprocal of a cosine graph. Now remember, when a cosine hit a midline, that's where it creates asymptote because that's going to give you 1 over. So we're going to talk about a little bit more of that in a second. So, but if I were to ask you, the amplitude for the secant is not going to be, so amplitude for the secant is actually none rather than 2. Because the inverted graph doesn't have an amplitude. It does not have amplitude, but you can probably say its amplitude for cosine is 2 because that's going to help you graph. So that is the first thing that you get. Second thing I will get is the midline. So midline is equal to 1 or y equal to 1. You must have that graph y equal to 1 and you must put in the graph. Third, I'm going to know the period. What is period? Well, it's 2 pi over 3 over 2. So it'll be 2 pi times 2 over 3. So that's 4 pi over 3. Is that okay? And fourth, period is going to be quarter periods. I'd like to figure out what happened with small changes. This one is going to be 4 pi over 3 divided by 4. So this cancel out, so it'll be pi over 3. So each quarter period is going to be pi over 3. Samuel, any questions so far? So this part you know how to do, right? 5 is moving right or left? Right, 2 pi over 3. So make sure that you know going right because the plus sign is actually going left rather than right. Because the x minus something, usually you set equal inside equal to 0, that's x equal to 2 pi over 3. So it start at 2 pi over 3. And what we're going to do is we're going to focus on the cosine graph rather than secant graph at first. Now, another thing's about a lot of students like this, and I see like some people like, I don't know, Jacob, I think you guys just kind of graph like this. That's not going to cut it. Unfortunately, that is not going to do well on a test. You actually have to figure out where the peak and trough is, where it's actually coordinate. Especially what I'm looking for is actually your starting coordinates. Your starting coordinate is going to be very, very important. So it's going to start with, I need to see the graph, at least on the test, I need to see the midline. Midline is y equal to 1, so that's going to be 1 here. Denisha, if you have a question, you got to ask. Same thing with Samuel, same thing with Jocelyn. A lot of you guys are just afraid to jump into graph it to make mistake. What's it? Magic School Bus? What's her name? Miss Fizzle? Miss Frizzle? Miss Fizzle? Yeah, he's like, she's always says get messy. Like, I don't know what she says. She says something like, go ahead and make mistakes and then you learn from it. Something like that along the line. Did you guys ever watch Magic School Bus? Yeah? Too much? So yeah, Magic School Bus, like one of my like favorite thing to watch when I was little. And that's a long time ago. Dude, that was so Oh, when my son grow up, it's like little Einstein. I knew Diego knows how to sing that song. All right, so what happened is I'm graphed a midline. So this is a midline. You should graph this. So I will give you a point for graphing this. So I'm gonna decide my my scale. So each scale that I'm gonna have is a pi over 3. So I'm gonna say this is a pi over 3. This is a 2 pi over 3. This is 3 pi over 3, which is pi. So I can simplify after that. 4 pi over 3, 5 pi over 3, and 2 pi. Is that okay? And that's going to be negative pi over 3, negative 2 pi over 3, negative 3 pi over 3. So I know that, but my starting point is going to be 2 pi over 3. So 2 pi over 3 is going to be right here. Usually it will start with right here if this is a sine. But the problem is this graph is what? Cosine. So if it's a cosine, you can write it down to help you. Start at peak or trough. Depends is a positive negative sign. So is start at peak, right? Is that okay? So start right here. So that's my first point. And that first point has to be correct. On your test, I need to see that first point. Yes.
What about like the right and left?
I did. I go right 2 pi over 2. So 2 pi over 3. So I go here. I didn't start at 0, right? I start with 2 pi over 3 to the right. And then since it's a cosine, I start at this particular point. Okay. Am I going too fast? So that's my first point. Now, some of you guys don't know how this works. The wave, if you start at the top, the next stage is going to go to the midline. Does that make sense? But midline is going to go down one more after a quarter period, which is going to be your trout. So that's going to be like this and like this. And then it's going to go to here. And it's going to go to here. And graph, 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 graph. And if you get used to it, it's so when I see you going like this, I know you didn't know how to do anything. And I know that's going to be bad grade on a test. Now let's talk about secant. Secant is going to have a asymptote when they reach this. Does that make sense? And then my graph is going to be something along the line like this. The peak is going to touch the trout. And it's going to be bunch parabolas. Huh? My bad. Sydney, click like and comment, please. And click on the notification button. So this is gonna be my graph. Samuel, does that make sense? When this cosine graph hit a midline, that means so I can pick any value. I'll show you why they equal to asymptote. Let's pick pi right here. Because that's 3 pi over 3. Let's pick a pi. What happens if I plug in pi? Well, that's going to be 2 secant of 3 over 2 pi minus pi plus 1. So it'll be 2 secant of pi over 2 plus 1. What's secant of pi over 2? That means 1 over cosine of pi over 2. What's cosine of pi over 2? 0. So that's 1 over 0. So this is undefined. So it's undefined. It must be that is an asymptote. So every time I reach here, it's going to create asymptote. Samuel, does that make sense? So when they touch a midline, that's why it creates asymptote, because that's when the value is going to equal to 0. In this case, 0 is going to be a midline because that's where, that's the radian that's going to give you like 1 over 0. Got it or no?
Yeah.
Okay. And then this is my graph. Yes, Denisha.
So for these questions, we have to graph cosine and then we can.
Graph secant and cosecant. Are we okay so far? Okay, so that's just a practice of all the transformation that we have done earlier, except now we're actually using the thing. Now again, the period's still from here to here, so the period still exactly the same as before. Amplitude is going to be none, but the period is going to go from negative pi over 3 to 3 pi, so it's 4 pi over 3. So the period is still exactly the same thing. Do you want to practice one? Just make sure you're actually good at it. Do you know how to check your answer on Desmos? Make sure you grab the midline. You can see the cosine graph, and then grab another one, secant, and make sure you graph above it. And you see that has to be true. Now try to do it on your own first. When you are really desperate, need help, and then you ask somebody to help you. But start from 0. Okay? Start from 0. Okay. So imagine if this is a test questions. I'm going to give you a -2 cosecant of, I don't know, 2 over 3 x plus pi over 2 minus 3. And I'm gonna see if you understand how to graph this. I need everything correctly, not just a squiggle line around the thing. When I see that, I know that's a half-S. Isaac, that's a half-S. You didn't even have a squiggle line. At least Jacob has squiggle line.
I think no line's better than squiggle line.
Honestly, I don't know. It's kind of like, it's kind of somewhat, at least like he can cheat the system, like, and then where you have nothing to cheat the system, so.
It's not really cheating the system if you found out.
Emma, show me.
Right away.
Emma, show me 2 graphs. Larissa, show me 4 graphs. Diego, show me 4 graphs. Yeah, just a practice problem. Imagine this is a test question. But try to do it on your own first, because the thing is like, can you do this thing on your own on the test? A lot of time you can do a practice on the thing, but when it comes to test, you kind of like, you fumble. see here. Where you been? Biomedical. Do you know how to grab the sine and cosine?
Like the little spoon.
Okay. So there's a practice questions here. See if this is the test question, can you handle it? Chunky, come on. And if you know what you're doing, check your answer on Desmos, and then start helping the people next to you. If they still need help. If they want to fight on their own, let them fight on their own. But if they need help, they will ask you. All right. Who's finished? Okay, 3. Did you check on Desmos now? And once you check, help another student. 11.
I did the same thing.
Yeah, I purposely put a plus sign. No, that's fine. Now you recognize that's good. I'd rather you do that now than the test. You got it? Jocelyn, Denisha, do you guys need help? If you need help, ask Olivia. Olivia.
Did you get it? No, yeah, we got.
Maybe.
Wait, you're going the wrong way. That you're supposed to. This is upside down, Sam. You need to start it. It's negative. You have to start here and go down. And it's 9. Well, it's. You start there. So go to the left. 3 pi with the left, and you start in the left to the sign, and so this second you go down after. So the. Then. No, you start from midline for all sides. No, you start on midline. Midline is like. So if this cosine negative, you start midline.
Hello? Done. Hey, James. This is Donald from Olympia High School.
We like start at the
Hey,
bottom.
I misplaced my invoice. Do you think you can email me another one for more of the data
That's me.
from Mr. Ye?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Yeah, everything looks good. We give out the word if people likes it. Good job.
You start it wherever it is. If it's
Alright,
negative,
thank you.
I'll do it.
When you start from midnight, you go down. You hit the peak. You go back up.
Diego, are you playing with your phone? Diego, do you have a graph on your paper?
You go from the midline, and then you look at the amplitude, and then that's how far down you are. So the amplitude is 2. So you go down to the midline, or you go up.
I know it was cosecant, so we start at the line. Equation is negative 3, right? So down.
Okay, check out this one. See what happens.
The whole thing's negative. I just rewrote the equation. It doesn't work.
No, this
Me too.
English is.
Join the club. Who's your teacher? He's nice. It's an easy one.
I just don't like English.
But pro is English. If you have Parm, then
Arm is the hard one.
Parm is the hard one.
In Apex, I think you can only have it for your sophomore year.
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
You're saying Mr. Farm or Miss Farm?
Parm is the harder one.
I have negative farm. I have Miss Farm for English.
You have both Parm?
Miss Farm.
English is probably English. He's kind of strict. He's a very strict grader. I think pro is easier or gram is easier.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well, I just haven't done that. Some people like I can't get past it. Yeah.
Graham is funny guy.
He's funny. He is funny. But he's like it's super unintentional. He just
It's kind of depressing funny.
but he's so good. Why is he getting a big fight with Steve? No, because he be talking, then you going over like the lesson.
Whose class felt the shortest? Stalker? Stalker is nice.
Yeah, but she speaks a lot, so the class is like very nice. She goes with me.
Yeah, she's nice. She's nice to me. I'm not up with her.
Yeah. This is like she's very all over the place. If you got Phillips, you're going from like doing like something every day, like very structured.
Yeah.
And then it starts to
That's what I was Yeah, Miss Phillips has her calendar.
Stalker only teach A push, right? AP World you can have either. Which one's better? I think Palm's easier to get A, right?
It's easier to get A, but just because it prepares you. It's hard like yeah, but I feel like just Farmers is like more lax. Why didn't you like her?
I didn't like your brother, no offense. He never did anything. He did less than you. That's a pretty impressive. He did less than you. Your brother did 4 or 3 though.
What?
On the AP Calc. He's smart boy. He's very laid back. How's he doing? He doing good in college though?
He like loves calculus.
Really?
Yeah.
He made him love
Like,
proud.
no, he hated it in your class, and then like he picked me again in college, and like really likes it.
Okay, so like it's then to okay, so I'm not gonna probably go down.
Yeah.
No, it does look like yeah. Oh, what the heck?
You got it wrong again?
Huh?
You got it wrong again?
No. We were just talking about the shaping.
Denisha, do you need help? Olivia, can you help out Denisha? And Jocelyn, do you need help?
Oh my god, yeah. I'm sorry. Not one. Yeah. Okay. Well, you don't have to, but I think you're gonna make
Like we could draw the dot with the asymptotic lines, or just like,
Yeah, you have to draw it. But it's not hard.
That's why I was slow.
It says
This is like
left.
on the test, you take this.
And you're starting there. And because it's like, I was thinking what you this is like the sign graph. The sign graph.
On the test, you take this graph, we have to like delete the code.
You don't need to do it. I need to see it in order to grade it. Winston, can you help out Ashley and make sure Ashley and Samuel need help in the middle group. Middle group. Samuel, you got it or no? Okay. Just go over there. Ashley, do you need help? Huh? Okay. No, no, Winston, go over there. Samuel. Samuel, ask Winston.
What? You get it? No, I'm good. Okay.
And Jacob, did you get it or no? No more squiggly line. Apple and Emily, you guys got it? Zafir? Don't tell me you put on the same damn graph again.
On a regular yeah.
That's so fun.
Since it's negative, instead of going like up like this, instead of going this way, what were you doing? This way?
Gabby, do you get it? No? Gabby? Do you understand it?
Oh no.
So you're starting in this coordinate, right? So you're not starting here, you have to go to the check out.
If you just slow the door.
You're doing good. I should go back to L. Like at this point, it's called quitting. We're gonna go straight. Travel.
Notify the state
Well, this is first one. That's one. Okay, so think about it like this. 3 pi over 4 is 1 fourth, right? So you add 1 more fourth, that's 6 half. So it's 6 pi over 4 versus 3 pi over 4. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, 6 pi. What do you think is gonna pass the exam? No, besides that, I didn't even know these. You know, like best in the past? Yeah. And go down. The actual is always I'm getting a 3. You're not gonna like get that.
Yeah.
You think this goes pass rate like it's so it's like a 98, right? She only needs an 85 kid, so isn't that like less impressive?
Compared to farm?
That's like isn't this job like easier? He only needs an 85 kid.
I think that's what farm says. It's a little bit easier, a little bit harder for her because APAC kids tended to be more focus oriented. But yeah, I think there's still a big gap between two. I don't think by looking at pass rate, it's very hard to tell. But I mean, I think Philip will do fine even with the vast students. That's what I think because she's very organized. She will make the kids wanna do stuff. So it's like some teacher can motivate the kids, some teacher cannot. Like it's really hard for. I think they both are very experienced teacher though. I mean, I don't see too much a difference between two. So
So, and at every single peak of Trump,
okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start. Let him finish, but so the min line is -3. -2 is a moving right. So this is my first point here on the left. Is that okay? And it's gonna go down. This is a sine graph. This is a sine graph. And the cosecant graph is gonna be like this. And that's gonna be like this. And check the graph, check on Desmo, make sure you grab the midline. And that's probably it for this particular part. Now, we don't have time to go to tangent and cotangent, but tomorrow we're gonna grade the paper. So Monday we're gonna go to tangent, cotangent. I'm just gonna give you consistent graphing. Sometimes you have to change the same denominator between quarters. One more thing that you might need to know is if you might need to change the same denominator between the quarter periods and starting value. Your like a horizontal translation. Horizontal translation. You might change the same denominator. It's easier for you to graph. Okay, change the same denominator. So one is, let's say, it's 2 pi over 5. The other one is, let's say, I don't know, 3 pi over 2. Then change it to pi over 10. If you change it over pi over 10, then you know like each same distance is gonna move accordingly. Also, sometimes if I give you a harder problem, is I can give you like this and this with a pi like this. So when you divide that situation, it's gonna be 2 pi divided by that. Pi is gonna go away. That becomes actual units. So your period could be like, instead of 3 pi, it could be 3 because pi cancel. Because your b value is gonna be some pi with it. So let's just imagine that there's a pi here. There's a 2 pi divided by 3 pi over 2. So that's going to be 2 pi times 2 over 3 pi. So now cancel out, that's going to be 4 over 3 rather than 4 pi over 3. So sometimes those things can change as well if you get to higher level questions. Now, good things on AP exam, you're not going to see the higher level equation. You're not even going to see a lot of those. You're just gonna see it in my class, just kind of see, like, push a boundary of what you guys can handle. But I'll see you next time, and see you tomorrow. We're gonna grade through all the tests and then see how you do. Oh, thank you. Sydney's online. One viewer. Sydney, you need to donate like $20.